This and more streaming on world's first news OTT. News9 Plus, download now.
Namaskara, Vanakkam. The South Indian is here. These are very interesting times for India. You know, whenever established paradigms are challenged and there is a change which happens, it is indeed very, very interesting, and particularly for a country as diverse and as vibrant as India. I am talking about the caste census. As you well know, Bihar took the lead and released the caste census, which is indeed a wake-up call for politicians across board. Let me summarize the main points of Bihar's caste census, which has a 13 crore population. Scheduled castes account for over 19%. Scheduled tribes make up 1.68%. The upper caste form 15.52%. The backward classes constitute 27%, while the extremely backward classes, that EBCs, comprise 36%. So net. The OBCs at 63% are the largest group in Bihar. What this means is, you know, in a larger scheme of things, I mean, it's good to know, but what does it do? What does the caste census do? This means that it's time for a rejig when it comes to power, political power and buying power in politics of those belonging to the OBC group. Being the South Indian, my focus now shifts to the other state in the south of India, and that being Karnataka. In Karnataka, the caste census was done and dusted way back in 2015. See the kind of pride in my voice. Yes, it's true, done in 2015. But it has unfortunately still to see light of day. It's been delayed for 8 long years, and even as Rahul Gandhi, who for all purposes is the leading light of the opposition India bloc, has loudly recommended carrying out caste census, and this is what he said about it. I will tell you more about it, but first up, listen to what he said.
कांग्रेस पार्टी ने कास्ट सेंसस किया था, याद है आपको? याद है? उसमें हिंदुस्तान में हर जाति के कितने लोग हैं वो डेटा हिंदुस्तान की सरकार के पास पड़ा हुआ है। नरेंद्र मोदी जी वो डेटा पब्लिक को नहीं दिखाना चाहते। मैंने एक आंकड़ा निकाला, हिंदुस्तान की सरकार को एमएलए और एमपी नहीं चलाते हैं, हिंदुस्तान की सरकार को सेक्रेटरीज और कैबिनेट सेक्रेटरी चलाते हैं। इस बात से आप सहमत हैं? सहमत हैं? कोई भी योजना बनती है, जो 90 सेक्रेटरीज हैं हिंदुस्तान की सरकार के हर मिनिस्ट्री में, वो योजना को डिजाइन करते हैं, कितना पैसा कहां जाएगा वो डिसाइड करते हैं। तो मैंने देखा, मैंने चेक किया कि भैया इन 90 लोगों में से नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार में पिछड़े वर्ग के कितने लोग हैं। आप हिल जाओगे। 90 लोगों में से सिर्फ 3 लोग ओबीसी समाज के हैं, और वो 3 लोग हिंदुस्तान का सिर्फ 5% बजट कंट्रोल करते हैं। भाइयों और बहनों, क्या हिंदुस्तान में सिर्फ 5% ओबीसी है? यह सबसे बड़ा सवाल है, और इस सवाल का जवाब सिर्फ कास्ट सेंसस से मिल सकता है।
So there you have it. There Rahul Gandhi is saying that the only solution to understand the kind of data that this country requires is only done through caste census. That's why we are asking you. Look at that. Why did Siddaramaiah delay caste census? What is the reason? That is the story. Now, the Congress party in Karnataka is sitting on it, even though there is talk now of submitting the report by November of this year. There is little likelihood of it having an impact on 2024 elections. Why? You may ask the South Indian. After all, caste census is for granting opportunities for the marginalized, and with Siddaramaiah belonging to backward caste and also as somebody who propelled the Ahinda movement in the state, it would only strengthen his position in the pecking order. Yes? But then this report had allegedly made its way into the hands of some in 2018, and what it threw up threatened the political landscape of Karnataka. Like I said, this caste census is going to, result in a kind of a tectonic shift. It's going to challenge whatever you and I thought was the absolute truth. Truth is never absolute. So, in this leaked report, what happened? Apparently, scheduled castes accounted for 19% of the state's total population, making them the largest caste group. Muslims followed closely, constituting 16% of the population. Lingaites and Vokaligas represented 14% and 11% of the population. If that data is close to being accurate, it may truly alter the political capital of certain groups like the Vokaligas and Lingaites, who have from time immemorial influenced politics in Karnataka. Now, on the other side of it, you heard Rahul Gandhi. We are talking about how Siddaramaiah sat on the caste census. What did Prime Minister Modi do? Modi made a scathing attack on the opposition and particularly the Congress party, saying that the caste census shows up their bias against minorities. Listen in.
कल से कांग्रेस ने एक अलग लाभ आरोपना शुरू कर दिया है। ये कांग्रेस के नेता कहते हैं जितनी आबादी उतना हक। मैं कहता हूं इस देश में अगर सबसे बड़ी कोई आबादी है तो वो आबादी गरीब है, और इसलिए मेरे लिए गरीब ही सबसे बड़ी आबादी है और गरीब का कल्याण यही मेरा मकसद है। मैं सोच रहा था कि पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री मनमोहन सिंह जी क्या सोच रहे होंगे। भारत के पूर्व प्रधानमंत्री मनमोहन सिंह जी तो कहा करते थे कि देश के संसाधनों पर पहला हक माइनॉरिटी का है, अल्पसंख्यकों का है, और उसमें भी मुसलमानों का है। अब कांग्रेस कह रही है कि आबादी तय करेगी कि पहला हक किसका होगा। यानी क्या अब अल्पसंख्यकों का हक कांग्रेस कम करना चाहती है क्या? और आबादी के ही हिसाब से ही अब तय होने वाला है, तो पहला हक किसका होगा भाई? किसका होगा? आबादी किसकी ज्यादा है? किसका हक होगा? जरा कांग्रेस वाले स्पष्टता करें। क्या आबादी के हिसाब से हक मिलेगा क्या? तो क्या अल्पसंख्यकों को कांग्रेस हटाना चाहती है क्या? तो क्या सबसे बड़ी आबादी वाले हिंदू अब आगे बढ़कर अपने सारे हक ले लें क्या?
Like I said, this caste census is going to result in tectonic shifts. I'm asking you, will the caste census in Karnataka alter the entire paradigm for Siddaramaiah that made him delay it for 8 years? Let's start the debate and find questions to why was it delayed for 8 long years. Joining me is Satya Prakash, spokesperson for the KPCC, and GS Prashant, who's spokesperson for the BJP. Also joining is Vijay Grover, senior journalist and political analyst. We shall await for Sandeep Shastri, who's a national coordinate Lokniti network. A very warm welcome to all of you on the show. My first question is, of course, to Satya Prakash. Satya Prakash, 8 long years. I mean, this is a very, very important exercise. It is part of affirmative action, which is part of our constitution. It's part of the promise that we, as a country, as a republic, makes to the people, we the people, as the preamble says. Why was the delay for 8 years? Let me ask the first question to all of you, the same question. What is the reason, Satya Prakash ji?
So first of all, we need to understand it is not 8 years. The report was not submitted even in 2018. The report was complete, but still they were in the process of, giving final touches to the report. By that time, the government finished its tenure. Next government, Mr. Kumaraswamy, our coalition partner, came there. Then Mr. Kantaraj, who was the chairman of the OBC Commission, Backward Class Commission, went and asked the government, we want to submit the report. The Kumaraswamy government, led government at that time said that, we have some reservations. That is how this report didn't come into the light.
Satya Prakash ji, I said 8 years. First of all, I said 8. I'm very poor in arithmetic. First of all, let me confess to all of you. I do not know numbers, but I'm saying I said 8 years because 2015, and it's at that time, I think Siddaramaiah ji took the initiative to get this done. I mean, he was the one. And also, I'm asking you, so many years, 18, it was leaked to some journalist. I also happened to work in a place where it was leaked and it came to us. And now, of course, it's been discarded. I don't know where it is. But I'm asking you, Satya Prakash ji, it is very easy. Why Siddaramaiah? Of course, HDK Kumaraswamy ji was, chief minister at that time. And we've heard, Siddaramaiah ji saying that it is his fault. He didn't do it. I'm just saying, someone who is responsible, the history will remember him as someone who propelled Ahinda movement, someone who keeps talking about how the backward should have equal opportunities. In July, I heard him where he said, we will bring it, then he kept quiet from July to October. After all, the composition has technical problems. It keeps changing. Why is he delaying it so much, sir? Now they are saying November, but it's really too late, I think, to put it into action. That's why I asked you, sir.
I will tell you, please allow me to
Thank
tell
you.
the chronology of events. Then 4 years, the BJP government came in. BJP government didn't take, any action on that. Now, the present OBC chairman who is there, Mr. Jaiprakash Hegde, the chief minister has clearly told him that by November, you have to submit the report. Till today, the report has not been submitted to the government. We should know facts. Now,
All right. Okay.
I think, I'm sure that, Mr. Siddaramaiah, who is the champion of social justice and Ahinda movement in Karnataka, will 100% table it in front of the cabinet, and once the cabinet approves, he will put it in the assembly and bring it to the
The answer that I'm looking for, which both of you may not give, and maybe a member of my fraternity, Mr. Grover, will give, is it's politics, silly, is what he's going to say to me. It's like, so I'll go to him last, but then before that, Mr. Prashant, thank you for joining us on the show, sir. The question is, why Siddaramaiah? Why am I asking, why Siddaramaiah delaying it? Because the buck stops with Siddaramaiah. I mean, he's been voted in, and he's someone, of course, the Ahinda movement is also there. But then let me also tell you that it is not just him, even as Bombay did nothing about it. I mean, there was complete silence, and I think it has, according to me, if the caste census is not out, it is almost like hiding the entire and absolute truth from the people of this country. You have to unmute Prashantji. Prashantji.
Yes, Sudhaji, it is not about we keeping quiet. You look at the chronology of events, how it has been brought about, and you look at the bigger picture. Congress now, followed with its Indie Alliance partners, are trying to divide people on the basis of caste now, only for electoral gains. You tell me, when there are welfare schemes which are being doled out by the center, irrespective of the position that somebody is in, if you take Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Jal Jeevan Mission, Ayushman Bharat, Kisan Samman Yojana, all these have benefited the poor and the downtrodden across all the castes. Therefore, there has been no we are not distinguished between a particular community also. In fact, if you look at the beneficiaries in the Awas Yojana and Jal Jeevan Mission, more than 30% are from the minority community, especially in Awas Yojana. And this is a record of the central government, you can check it. So therefore, what this Congress and its allies are trying to do is divide the people solely on the basis of caste to make electoral gains.
I don't understand
Otherwise,
this. I mean, I don't understand
and
that how, I
look
mean,
at how survey is showing
it
it
is
now.
actually, it's going above my head. It's so convoluted. I mean, please, sir, don't look for a conspiracy theory where there is none. You know, I am saying, why do you think Mr. Siddaramaiah has delayed it? After all, he is the father of the report. 2015, he started it. Of course, many chief ministers came after that. But nothing has happened. I am asking you and you say they are dividing it. Oh, report hoga tabhi na divide karenge. Report ही नहीं है अभी तो.
मैडम रिपोर्ट नहीं तो ठीक है, जो जिस हिसाब से कर रहे हैं वो लोग, यही बोल रहा हूं मैं, जिस हिसाब से सिद्धरामैया जी ने वादा किया था पहला, अब जो कर रहा है, अब जो उसके इंटरनल टजल चल रहा है कांग्रेस के अंदर, डीके शिव कुमार, श्याम शिवशंकरप्पा, परमेश्वर, इन चार लोगों के बीच में क्या चल रहा है सिद्धरामैया के साथ?
Sir, I've done enough stories about what is going on. They need 4 deputy chief ministers, but that's another conversation, Prashant ji. Vijay Grover, I'll come to you, sir.
You have to link
Sir,
it
I'll come to
properly
you,
see.
sir. Please, thank you for your patience, sir. Vijay Grover, tell me that it is only and only politics and nothing else, or you have a different take on this.
Sudha, I'll tell you the reason why Siddaramaiah, after having initiated it, has delayed it, because this is something which is like, a can of worms which will impact a lot of people, and, a lot of top leaders will feel ruffled. Even the communities that they belong to certainly are not very keen that the report comes out. That's the reason why, given the political pressures that have been there on Siddaramaiah, he has tried to, just keep it in lingering, and that is something. Now, the reason why Siddaramaiah delayed it is the fact that, while he wanted to highlight the fact that, the economically backward communities, especially the extremely backward communities, Idigas and all that, and apart from that, the Kuruba community, have been sidelined for a long time in Karnataka politics. We have seen that Karnataka politics has been predominantly dominated in the last 3 decades by the Vokaligas and the Lingayats, and the other castes have played only support system in terms of influencing the voters to ensure the victory of either a Vokaliga or a Lingayat in most of the constituencies. 139 out of the 234 constituencies are predominantly controlled by these two communities. And this data now, which is being leaked selectively, or, is being discussed about, could change the dynamics of Karnataka politics. That is something which is a cause of worry. And though Siddaramaiah had initiated it, he also knows that he cannot do without the support of the Vokaliga community, because traditionally the Kurubas work with the Vokaligas in most of the rural areas, and this could be something that could change a lot of arithmetic in these constituencies. Now, why this report is important, or why it should come out now, because this is something which will, when we are now discussing Bihar, the outcome of the Bihar report clearly shows that several communities which have been marginalized politically suddenly feel empowered. And that could be something that could be very, very crucial in changing the political dynamics of this entire state. And though, there are a lot of, heartburns we see, especially from the Lingayat community and the Vokaliga leaders, but certainly this could be something which could be a game changer.
Right. Yeah, I think we've lost connection, but Vijay Grover nailed it. He actually, that is the real reason that why politicians are cagey about it, because politics does not really work on you vote for me, I'm a good guy. It takes a lot of matrix, you have to manage a lot of things, and that's the reason why Siddaramaiah actually delayed it. And I'm not saying he's the only one. Whether it is Bommai, whether it is Yadurappa, whether it is HDK, all of them are in the same possible category. let me now go to, yeah, you were raising your hand, Mr. Satyaprakash. Do you want to say something before I ask you? Go ahead, sir.
Yes, Sudhaji, you need to understand that in 2015, Siddaramaiah constituted this commission, this census. It was more or less, data came in by 2018 during the fag end of his this thing. And it will be Siddaramaiah himself who will, bring this, table this report in the assembly. I'll assure you that. Because none of the other chief ministers like H.D. Kumaraswamy or Yediyurappa or Bommai had the guts to do it. The champion of the backward classes, the champion of Ahinda, it will be Siddaramaiah who will table this report. This I will assure you on behalf of the Congress party.
Right. So, let me just quote what Siddaramaiah said. He said that I had asked the then backward classes minister Puttaranga Shetty to accept the caste census report, but Kumaraswamy did not allow it to happen. So the thing is that it seems, yeah, so it is, it's not as if Mr. Siddaramaiah is a baby in woods, and because HDK did not allow it, he could have easily pushed through it if he is a Ahinda champion, which he is. My whole point is, there is complete nervousness, sir, Satyaprakash sir, because the Lingayats and the Vokkaligas, the matrix is going to change. They are no more going by the numbers, no more the dominant group, because even as we speak, there is a lot of pressure on your party about having deputy chief ministers from the Lingayat community, also from various other communities. Hari Prasad has spoken about it, many other leaders are. So this, don't you think that your approach to politics in Karnataka will undergo a change if, going by the leaked report of 2018, we see SC right at the top, second Muslims? What are you going to do?
See, what we need to understand, Sudhaji, is when it comes to education and employment, even sections of Lingayat and Vokkaligas also are part of OBC, few sections, if you see. When what cannot be measured cannot be improved upon, you need to understand. Why should we measure which community is how much? So that we know affirmative action of government policies can go to the right people as per their population. If OBCs economically most backward OBCs get their due, even the backward among the Lingayat and Vokkaligas also will get their due, because as far as education is concerned, in employment, they also get certain percentage of
no, but
reservation
what
in
if they are not backward in the Lingayat and the Vokkaliga sector, sir?
They should not have a problem, because their brethren also will get some benefit out of this caste census.
Right.
Affirmative action will go to those sections within Vokkaliga and Lingayat too.
Right.
Why
but
should
tell me
Vokkaligas
something.
and Lingayat have a problem?
But the thing is,
जिसका जितना आबादी उसको उतना भागीदारी,
तो फिर
as per
चुप
their
क्यों बैठे?
population chemistry,
अरे बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं कि जिसकी जितनी आबादी है उसकी उतनी भागीदारी. Then why did Siddaramaiah sit on it for 8 years, in the sense that
that is exactly what I'm trying to tell me. Give me 30 seconds and I will prove.
Yeah, only
the report
30.
was not tabled during Siddaramaiah's
Arey,
period.
we know that, sir. Sir, when did he
Yeah,
take
then
oath, sir?
obviously
Sir,
the
when did he
responsible
take
for it.
oath, sir? He took oath in May. Am I right? Maybe I'm wrong. May this year? Did he take oath in May? May, June, July, August, September, October, June. Okay. 4 or 5 months it's been. He keeps going and saying caste census should happen. Rahul Gandhi says Hindustan mein hona chahiye, ye hona chahiye. Now it's gone to November because they say there is some technical thing. Now Mr. Hegde, he says I'll do it in 1 month. We are sitting in October now. He says I'll do it by November. Something is not right. Something is, there is some problem there.
Sudhaji, nothing is wrong. Backward Commission is an autonomous body. It is not controlled by the government. Government can suggest, please give me a report in the next 1 month.
I'm talking about the data that they have to cull. I'm not talking about control. We'll come back to you.
Data
Mr.
is there.
Prashant,
Data is there.
Mr.
One thing is
Prashant,
they have to
no,
do
I
some
think
adjustments.
okay, you want me to say, I think Siddaramaiah is very nervous about it because it's going to change
Absolutely not.
the entire complex. What you were thinking about Lingayats and Vokkaliga, all that is going to change. Mr. Prashant, I want to ask you, I think every chief minister since 2015 is equally guilty. This is the Kannadigas, taxpayers, 170 crore rupees which was spent on this. Okay, but all the chief ministers sat on it. Today, Bommai can say very easily, not Mr. Yediyurappa ji, he is not spoken about it, but Bommai can very easily say, oh, you have to carry out a caste census. But what did he do when he was chief minister, sir? I think this caste census not only has been delayed, there has been a lot of waste of money on this, Mr. Prashant.
Sudaji, it is delayed. Let them table it. Why are we talking about some selective leaks? Because it's not officially, no number has come out. All these are figment of imagination, saying somebody is 19, somebody is 16. We don't know. We don't know the contents of the report, what's going to come out. You may have some data which has come to you in a journalist capacity, but we do not have the data to talk saying who's a more dominant community or how, because the last census in the country, I think, was conducted in 1931 on caste lines.
Yeah.
After that, on caste lines, I don't think a survey has been taken place in India from 1931 onwards on a caste basis. You may have surveys on other basis for socio and economic reasons, but purely based on caste after 1931, I don't think it's taken place in India at all. So therefore, let the report come out, let the Backward Classes Commission table its report, let the government accept it, let's see what the contents are. Why should we jump the ship? Let it come. We will see what the report is, what the demographic details they're talking about, what is the sample size they have covered. There are a host of issues. Let them come out with their details. We will debate it once it comes out, saying the authenticity, the correctness, genuineness, what all the issues that they are bringing out. Let us discuss when it comes out.
Right.
What is the need
but,
to
but,
now say?
But do you agree,
what's in it?
Prashantji, do you agree that the taxpayers' money, 170 crores, was wasted or not? Or that also you will wait and see?
No, it has already been spent. So therefore, the only recourse for the government is to ensure that the report is tabled. What money has already been spent, and they have prepared a report. Now they have to correct the report.
What is this? I find it very surprising. 8 years? Come on. I mean, no government. Look at Nitish Kumar made. I'm not holding a brief for Mr. Nitish Kumar, but I'm sure you, Prashantji, you very kindly told us the last caste census which took place, and now which is, but 8 long years is and why I'm talking about Siddaramaiah ji is because he's the chief minister right now, and he's someone who's the champion of the backwards. So it's but overall blame should also go to all the other chief minister of Karnataka who've been sitting on it. Professor Chambe Puranik, who's a political analyst, well-known political analyst, has also joined us. Professor Puranik, I'm talking about after Bihar, there is now a lot of pressure on Karnataka about caste census. Why do you think Siddaramaiah delayed it so much? Because he was the one who initiated it in 2015. Later he said HDK sat on it, he did not want to release it. After that in 2018, some of the parts of the report was leaked. In that they say scheduled caste. Now this is the report which was leaked. Is right at the top, 19% sir, Muslims 16%, Lingayats 14%, Vokkaligas 11%. Now the entire complexion of it changes. My friend Vijay Grover, he says that listen, no one wants to open a can of worms because it changes the caste matrix in Karnataka, and considering Lingayats and Vokkaligas are influential, that's why they complete radio silence from every chief minister and also of course Siddaramaiah. Your views on it, Professor?
Well, Sudha, just now I heard our BJP friend Prashant speaking. There is a kind of political manipulation that is involved in placing the Backward Commission report. It has been there since 2015, as Mr. Siddaramaiah himself has admitted. Till 2023, they have not been able to,
yes,
look into it. But as you said, the leaked information, perhaps it hurts or affects radically the dominant communities, both Lingayats and Vokkaligas, and the OBCs and SCs and STs and also Muslims. They will be on top of it, 19% and 17%. But all the data is very old data also. That is also another reason why the report, I think, is not going to be a very objective one or fair one also, because delay. The more delay you permit or allow, I think there will be a lot of confusion. I think the basic question in India is, including the Bihar survey that has been census report that has been placed by open by Nitish ji. I think there is a question of the credibility or reliability of the data, and also the criteria on which the particular Backward Commission members have looked into it.
Right.
Kantraj report is there. Kantraj report, which is a favorite one for Siddaramaiah and his group. Actually he was very particular. But Kantraj Commission report has its own kind of, wrong calculation, it's alleged. So therefore, that there has been a pressure on Mr. Siddaramaiah when he was Chief Minister. Later also, when Kumaraswamy was there, he was not in a position to release it. So I think it's ultimately it belongs to the kind of situation in which the political parties are definitely going to face wrath from the people, the voters in their from the particular community. So therefore, I think there is a kind of reservation, strong reservation about the reliability.
So Professor, why I raised this question for the South Indian debate today is that amongst all of them, particularly Siddaramaiah has been the flag bearer for Ahindas, someone who's always spoken. Even recently he spoke about Kurubas, he spoke about Ahilyabai Holkar, he spoke about the tribes, he speaks about it, we know what his life is. Also he's made his politics around backwards, right? So I am therefore I asked, why has he been sitting on it? Forget about, okay, he started it in 2015, later there was HDK, Bommai, everyone, but he took oath end of May, June, now again, and there is so much pressure on him. Now he's ultimately said, okay, November I will do it. So there seems to be a reluctance, because you also, like you said, you believe that it is going to change the electoral matrix of Karnataka. Yes, Professor?
Definitely.
It will.
Yeah.
It will.
Definitely it will make an impact, a very radical impact. But it can also be questioned, in the court of law, because judiciary is, still, is having its own final word or verdict on that. So that is also another issue. Now, when the survey was done, it was 6 crore people of Karnataka who were involved in that. So now it has increased, almost nearly 7 crores. The people have the population has grown. So therefore, I think the kind of delay that was there in Kantraj Commission report, and also strong reservations about upsetting the caste balance or the matrix in Karnataka. I think these are all political considerations. Even today, the pressure by the present lobby after Nitish Kumar's placing the census before the state of Bihar, I think in almost all situations, the states will come forward with this kind of pressure only, saying that the census. Rahul Gandhi himself has said there should be census, and that census should come. I think in all fairness, I think 2021 census would have been better than what the criteria that has been followed earlier, in order to be fair to all the communities. I am not saying particular community or that community, but the dominant communities, definitely they are going to oppose it. They are not going to accept it just on the face value of the commission report. And Jaiprakash Hegde is a person who is appointed by BJP government itself. So therefore, there is a question of what is the difference. Siddaramaiah is for Kantraj Commission report, whereas Jaiprakash Hegde is for BJP person. I think
Vijay,
that could be.
Vijay Grover, I want to ask you that hypothetically, for the benefit of the viewers, if the composition looks like scheduled caste right on the top, followed by Muslims and followed by Lingaites and then Vokkaligas, can you, for the benefit of, it's going to turn everything topsy-turvy. Then you and I, when we are discussing elections, are not going to look at these mainly two things, that is Lingayat voters here, Vokkaliga voters here, JDS therefore is equal to Lingayat, DKS is equal to Vokkaliga, DKS is equal to Vokkaliga, therefore everything will change. The way any area geographically in Karnataka is seen, that will change, and of course the influence of the so-called Lingayat leaders as well as the mutts will also be whittled down.
Exactly, Sudha. See, this is something that is what is waiting to happen. Now, given the fact that I will just want to draw your attention to one data that I had of 2013-14. Now, there is a minority commission when there is allocation of funds for minority benefits, and let me tell you, despite Mallikarjun Kharge being the member of parliament at that time from Kalburgi, the minimum utilization of these funds happened in his constituency. This is something which came as a shocker to a lot of us, because a person who claims to be championing the backward castes and the minorities, was actually not even able to use the funds in his own constituency and ensure that their lives are uplifted. Now, clearly, caste politics is something which is very different from the caste spread across the state, and this is somewhere we need to understand that the empowerment of the weaker caste will actually help benefit the society. I know some of the leaders feel ruffled, or they will feel upset if this report comes out, because their power centers become weaker. But the fact is, if we were to look at beyond just the power struggle that we are able to see in the predominant caste, this would be something which could actually change a lot of dynamics in terms of the schemes that need to be brought in. And that is what is very crucial, that if there is a board for minorities, how much funds it should get. If there's a board for the Dalits, what funds it should get. If there's a board for the tribals, this is what we should be actually looking at, and this is what the politicians, everybody claims to be serving the society. Let them come forward and say, okay, this is the report. Let me see how I can help improve the life and standards of the people who have been deprived of power.
Yeah,
power,
wonderfully
not just
said.
Political, but even the social equality power. So this is something that we should actually discuss.
Very wonderfully said, and I think not many people would be looking at this, Vijay. Also Vijay, now the point is in Bihar, as you see, there is a chorus growing for Tejasvi Yadav. That's because of their group, which has emerged as a dominant group. Don't you think this kind of political blackmailing will start slowly and steadily? Because right now, even in Karnataka, you see, the Lingayats saying that, oh, we've been ignored, we shouldn't have been ignored. The Vakaliga saying something, they are saying 3 deputy chief ministers, 4 la do, 5 la do. The thing is, I think this whole political blackmailing, it will also give rise to it. I mean, you spoke about how if it's a weak group and it's right at the top, they should get affirmative action. They should be the beneficiaries. That is real empowerment, which may not happen, alas and alack. But also the political blackmailing, do you think that will happen for sure?
See, I'll tell you, I was just reading the Bihar report, and in the Bihar report, there are 4 castes which have been mentioned in that, and the total population strength of these 4 castes is not even 1,000 people who are there. Or, there are some 7 castes which have less than 10,000 people. But, when it was projected politically, these people claim to be having strengths which were far higher than the actual numbers, and were able to, get those kind of quotas and reservations and all those kind of things. This is where I feel that new reports or this kind of thing, though caste, for me or for many of us, does not matter, because this is something that we never go around talking about it, this kind of thing. But the fact is, the politicians who have used it to either get tickets or to claim political influence, that should stop. And I think so, if the report comes out, it will change a lot of things. And instead of feeling marginalized or sidelined, I think so every leader should come forward and see how this data of the census can be utilized for public good, and not just for their own
but
power struggle in the parties.
But one sense I get is that it's been delayed inordinately. Whether it was you or whether it is Professor, I mean, it has been delayed. It could have come before, and Professor also made a very good point, is that what was then has changed now. Realities keep changing. Anthropologically, if you look at it, the composition of communities and people, it undergoes change. Therefore, this delay, I think, is unfair, but I'm sure, Mr. Hegde will sit on it and do something so that you have a genuine report. Yes, Mr. Satyaprakash ji, go ahead. You were raising your hand.
Better late than never. We need to understand what was the motive behind this census.
Chalo, at least we accepted it's late.
Give me some time. Give me some time. Okay. Taxpayers' money has been used. Now, why we have made this census? The marginalized sections like OBC and minorities are the worst affected people who don't have proper political representation or representation in employment, representation in education. SC and STs get this through the constitutional protection that they get. The upper caste today, Vakaligas and Lingayats, along with other upper castes, they get more political representation, nearly double or triple their actual population. It is only OBCs and minorities who are at the receiving end. So with this caste census, both the OBCs and minorities, we will exactly know what is their population, what is their social status, what is their economic status, what is their political status, and all social empowerment, political empowerment, educational empowerment, and employment empowerment will happen as per their population. And that is exactly the motto of this census, caste census. And I am
Right,
sure
okay.
Congress
It is
government
anti-
I've completely run out of
will
time.
table it
No.
in
Sudhaji,
the
give me 30 seconds to rebut.
I have completely run out of time. I have to ask
Suresh,
my
give me thir-
director if he'll
no, no.
allow me 30 seconds.
Give me 30 seconds to just to make a rebuttal
He's
on
my
that.
boss. I can't. He's telling me, wrap it up.
No.
He's my
Fine.
boss.
Give me 30
See,
seconds. and wrap it
unlike
up. Give me
Mr.
30
Siddaramaiah who delayed it, I can't delay shows, sir. I have to say
No,
goodbye
you can
to
delay
you.
with 30 seconds, madam.
No, I can't,
Because
sir. Thank you
what
very much.
Shivprakash-
Satya Prakash ji.
what Shivprakash
Thank you
has
so
said
much,
is
Prashant ji.
constitutionally
Professor will
wrong.
understand because he also does
Shivprakash
classes
has made
like
a
we do.
constitutionally wrong.
Thank you very much and thank you so much, Vijay Grover. Prashant ji, my apologies to you. I wish I could have accommodated you. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, all of you. And I am talking to you, ladies and gentlemen, you know, when any decision taken by any government starts impacting little children, then it's really, really very strange. Because if you protect your children, their dignity, and if you ensure that they are secure, then you have a bright future. I'm going to talk about Karnataka and I'll tell you the story. This may sound like one of the most bizarre decisions which may impact school children in Bengaluru. At the center of it is the perennial traffic problem in Bengaluru, the IT hub of India, a city which boasts of modernity like no other metropolis in the country. The Karnataka High Court has made a suggestion that in order to decongest traffic in the morning hours, schools can perhaps look at revising timings. So, a meeting has been called by the School Education Department to discuss revising timings for school kids and perhaps bring it forward to either 7 or 7:30 a.m. It's not been done, please. It may be done. There is a meeting which is going to happen either at 7 or 7:30 a.m. instead of what it is presently, and that being 8:30. The move, some feel, will help traffic to ease in Bengaluru, but let me say that for most stakeholders, that is parents, teachers and transporters, it is like sounding of 1000 alarm bells. Imagine 8:30 school, now it's becoming either 7:30 or 7 o'clock. And more importantly, the kids who shall be put to several inconveniences. They would have to wake up early, and not that their school assignments will lessen in any way, same assignments will be given, and this may lead to them feeling physically and mentally fatigued. They need a good night's sleep, ladies and gentlemen. Also, imagine if a school is 15 kilometers away and a child has to reach by 7 or 7:30, that would mean the child waking up at the wee hours of the morning and perhaps going to school empty stomach. A lot of people can't eat like that. What about teachers who are also parents? They have to see that their children get ready, they also have to get ready, and they have to rush for the school book. It's the same problem. I am asking you, why can't the government and transporters think of ideas which eases the traffic snarls in Bengaluru in the morning? For instance, taking public transport with an adult. I mean, children can take public transport. There is metro in Bengaluru. There are buses which are excellent. The children can go with, of course, an adult and the adult who is, of course, ratified by parents and the school. Or like having classes on alternate days for the same class, but like different sections. Like if you are in class 2, section A and C can come on one day and B and D can come on another day. Like appointing traffic marshals near schools to help navigate traffic. Changing school timings is, according to me, the most bizarre and hellish idea for little kids who have to now get up almost 1.5 hours before than what they are used to and adjust. Not a good idea. I am vetoing it. Let's wait for the meeting. And on that note, the South Indian is saying bye bye, vanakkam, namaskaram. Tomorrow, I promise you, more stories and more excitement. Keep watching the South Indian.
Hello everyone, Namaskar. I'm music composer Ricky Cage. Three-time Grammy Award winner and a United Nations Goodwill Ambassador. And you're watching me on First Person on News9 Plus.
This and more streaming now on the world's first news OTT, News9 Plus. Download now. BrahMos. Stealthy, lethal, precise. It flies at 3 times the speed of sound and cuts through a warship like a hot knife through butter. China's navy has threatened its neighbors, and they are turning to the BrahMos for protection. The warship killer. This and more streaming on world's first news OTT, News9 Plus. Download now.
I almost did not want to find out that Rajiv Gandhi was corrupt. Is it possible for a Prime Minister of a country to tell so many lies? You cannot imagine the pressure on me by the VP Singh government to write this story, to blame Amitabh Bachchan. Mr. Modi opened the boxes. Hello, my name is Chitra Subramaniam. I am a journalist by profession. My investigations into Bofors brought down the Rajiv Gandhi government.
This and more streaming now on the world's first news OTT, News9 Plus. Download now.
With all this gear, you must be wondering if I'm climbing a mountain. Well, let me give you a